Welcome to the Best Forking Friends podcast. This is a little mini episode. Don't know how long it's going to last, but we're going to give you a little extra today. This is Joel, and with me today are Melissa and Dustin. Melissa and Dustin, say hello.
What's
Hello.
up, everybody?
Melissa and Dustin are visiting from Indiana and Kentucky, and they wanted to check out our podcast setup. So we have it set up here to do just a little tiny baby special episode. We'll see how long we go with it. Whenever somebody starts knocking on the door to get us out of here, we'll have to cut it short. So we'll just start with a little bit of introduction. We'll start with Melissa. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself, Melissa.
I live in Kentucky, and I'm Jesse's sister.
Yeah. How long have you been sisters?
40 years.
That's a long
to see
time.
if I knew how old she is.
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm a nurse.
That's cool. And you've been a nurse for about how many years?
About 7 years.
7 years. That's cool. Dustin, what about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Indiana, and I work for Toyota Manufacturing.
Cool.
Yeah, and real exciting stuff. Build SUVs for Toyota, so that's kind of what I do for my job.
Yeah, Toyota's a great manufacturer. So what kind of tell us what SUVs you help manufacture?
We do the Highlander, Grand Highlander, and we also do the Sequoia, and we're doing right now what is called a right-hand drive model. So we're actually making right-hand drive vehicles and shipping them overseas.
Oh, like for countries that drive on the other side of the road.
Yep.
Do you also? I know that sometimes the Postal Service has vehicles like that. Do the U.S. Postal Service buy those from you at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We have contracts through different different countries, and we have to fulfill those needs. But we have a daily quota that we try to hit, and we make those SUVs and we send them out daily. We make quite a few, so
That's awesome. Well, we're glad you're both here today to do a little, like I said, a little mini podcast. Jesse's here with us, but she's being really shy because she doesn't have her headset on. But she's monitoring and supervising to make sure that we're doing everything right. And if I don't do it right, I'm going to get fired. So hopefully everything goes okay tonight. So let's start with, let's see. I was going to ask something. Okay, so a lot of our listeners have heard Jesi on the podcast, and we have Jesse's sister, Melissa, on here. Melissa, would you care to tell us a funny story about Jesi and you whenever you guys grew up?
Whenever Jesse was little, probably, I think right before kindergarten, she climbed up a pole and got stuck, and my mom almost had a heart attack.
How tall was this pole?
It was a light pole in front of the house.
Did it have like the?
No,
How did
it was just a metal round pole, and it had a big concrete block at the bottom of it. And then she wouldn't come down once she got to the top.
Were you too afraid? Because she doesn't. I know she doesn't like heights. Oh, now she's gonna turn the mic over here.
she's
Okay.
wanting to defend herself now.
All right.
It's a true story.
All right.
It is a true story. I don't have headphones, but I can hear y'all talking, so I guess that still counts.
Yeah, you sound
Can you hear me
fine.
okay?
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, it was just a sleek metal apartment light pole out front of where we lived at.
And how old were you?
I think I was like 3.
She was
Yeah.
not very
Yeah.
old. Maybe 3
3
or 4.
years old?
Mm-hmm.
And you just got up there and then you just held on for dear life and you wouldn't come down.
Yeah, until my mom was at the bottom, and there was concrete around the bottom of it, and she's like, okay, slide down real slow. And I just like basically
remember
slid
that.
down real fast and dropped, and she's like, "Oh my god!"
And you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
3 years old, that's hard for a lot of people to
Yeah.
remember.
Well, there was a bunch of boys in our apartment,
Mm-hmm.
like area. It wasn't like an apartment complex. It was like apartment buildings set next to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a lot of boys that I played with in the neighborhood. So I had to prove, that I was tough too
At 3.
at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get in with the cool kids.
Yeah.
At
I was
3.
the cool kid. I was the
Oh.
one. I was the one that was doing all the risky things for the other younger ones to be following me.
They
I
do
was the leader.
Of the
At 3 years
at
old.
3. It was a different world in the 80s.
Yes, it was.
It was a different world.
She was the daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet. So Dustin, you and I were talking earlier, and you mentioned that you have a YouTube channel. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about it and give us a little plug on what it is, and in case anybody wants to check it out and see what you've gotten into with that.
Yeah, so me and my brother actually started a YouTube channel a couple years back, and it's called Paranormal Riders, and it's basically just based off of our love for riding motorcycles and going to haunted locations and checking out those locations and giving a brief description of history of the location and then what we experience during our time there.
Awesome.
What would you say is the most significant place that you've been?
Well, I mean, honestly, the most significant place I've been wasn't even recorded, and this was several years ago. And in southern Illinois, there's a college, and there is an old, it's not there anymore, it's been pushed down, but there was an old poor farm, which I don't know if you know what a poor farm is, but
No, what is that?
it's basically a old state-funded building that would take the mentally handicapped and the unwanted of the state,
Oh.
and they would house them there, and they would be kept there. Well, during that time, that went on for several years, and legend has it that after that was used by the state, it was turned into an insane asylum, and after that, the college bought the building, and there was just nothing done with it, and it was just left to rot, basically. But anyway, there was this long drive path to get to this place, and you take this single road, and it was blocked off, and you would go down this path, and in the middle of the woods was this 3-story building. And
Wow.
yeah, me and a buddy went and checked it out. We went down there one night and went down in the basement, and the basement was nothing but padded rooms. In the
No
basement.
way.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Wow.
No windows.
You
no
have some footage
nothing.
of this?
I don't. No.
Oh, you didn't
Yeah,
record
this-
that part?
No, this was before me and my brother had the channel or recorded or anything. This is just one of the experiences that.
Kind of one of the things that inspired you to maybe want to
Oh
do
yeah,
some of this.
oh yeah,
regularly.
for sure. Like I love going to these type of locations and seeing these type of things. It's interesting.
Jesse's shaking her
exciting.
head like, nope.
That's
And
a whole lot of
Melissa,
no.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Because we've lived in places.
yeah. So one of the interesting things when we was down there, there's no windows or nothing in this basement. It's just all padded rooms with steel doors, thick, heavy steel doors. And we go down there, we look through the whole bottom of the place. And anyway, we're coming back up the stairs to go to the mid-level. And we're about 3 or 4 steps up. And all of a sudden, one of those big, heavy steel doors down in the basement just slammed as hard as possible. Oh, yeah.
Shut up, dude. No, way.
Seriously. Just like if you took both hands on it and just slammed it with all your force. I mean, it was
Wow.
it was startling.
That's more than like wind can do.
oh
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
For
it was
sure.
Way more than
downstairs. There's
wind.
no wind
Mhm.
down there.
There was no windows. It was all padded rooms downstairs.
So okay, just if I were in your shoes and I happened to, get the gumption to even just go into this building,
Mm.
that happened to me, I'm bolting. Say, peace, brother. I'm leaving. I'm gone.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. We bolted up the stairs, but once I got to the top of the stairs, my buddy I was with, he went out the door. I stayed at the door, and I just turned around and looked back down
Why?
there. I don't know. I can't explain these things, but
And then you immediately went to
curiosity.
Walmart. You went to Walmart to get some new underwear because clearly you pooped yourself, I'm sure. No, you didn't.
no.
So
As
you
Shane would say, poo-poo dipes.
Yeah, poo-poo dice. But no, like that's really cool. I wish I was like brave to do stuff like that, but I am super duper freaked out.
Mhm.
But I won't even like walk in a cemetery at night,
Really?
even if it's like well lit in a nice area. Like there's just something
That's creepy.
too creepy. It's just a bunch of dead people. Like I understand that they're like,
Their souls are gone, but its bodies still.
yeah. I mean, like you
And their souls can be lingering around,
right?
which is the creepy part.
Could be, yeah.
I will say, since you brought up a cemetery thing, one little thing.
Oh, we
I
got
don't-
another scary story.
It's
All right.
not really scary. I don't want to spill everything, but if we ever have a future episode on this topic, I got a few things to add.
I love
to
it. I love it.
But I was in a cemetery one time, and I was doing some audio voice recording, and
Oh, what do they call that?
EVP.
Yeah, EVP. Jesse likes watch. She likes to watch the
Electronic
paranormal
voice phenomenon.
phenomenon. Yeah, and Jesse will watch shows like that, and Bradley likes them too.
Mhm.
And
Only during the daytime. I don't
yeah.
watch them at nighttime.
Yeah, it gets too creepy at night. All right, so you're in the cemetery.
Yep.
You're trying to get some EVP.
Yep.
Tell us what happens.
So anyway, I was using what is called like a trigger object. So you can use something either from the past or something current and try to use that to invoke something to respond to it. So anyway, I didn't have anything on me, so I just got out some money out of my billfold. I had some cash.
That persuades anything.
That's what
Living or
I'm
dead.
saying. That's what
Dollar
I'm
dollar
saying.
bills, y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
Making it rain.
So I'm just there, and I say something, and I say a few words, and I lay out the money as a trigger object, and I talk about the money, and then I ask if they like money. And during the whole recording, there's nothing, no sound, no nothing. But whenever I ask if they like money, you can distinctly hear a woman's voice, and it says, "Well, I do." Just
That's
like
cool.
that.
Do you have that recording still?
I do. I believe it's in storage, like at my grandparents' house, but it is
Wow.
recorded somewhere.
Wow.
I do have that. But that was pretty neat. I mean, it's just a small little snippet of something,
Yeah, but it's something.
But I mean, you can go hours and hours of recording stuff and never hear anything. I mean, there's always distortions or sounds that can end up on a, audio recording, but
Right.
when there's something as distinctive as that, it's pretty unique, and pretty rare.
Wow. That's pretty incredible, though.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that at a future date, we're going to be able to have a full length episode, like hour long, where we can really dive into a lot more of that sort of stuff. Because even though I am freaked out by doing stuff, I'm intrigued enough to want to hear more about it. But you're not going to convince me to go into a creepy old house. So you just record it and then show it to me. I'll be like, that was nice. I'm glad you lived.
Glad you lived.
So go ahead, Melissa. What do you got to say? You look like you're about to say something there.
He had a experience at the house the other day.
Your house.
Yes. I have a ghost in the house.
You have a ghost in your house? Okay. Remind me we're never going to visit them ever again. No,
Well,
kidding.
he lingers in the living room that you slept in.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. All right. So tell us about this ghost that lives in your house.
Usually he stays on one end of the house. It's the older part of the house. The backside's been added on to.
Yeah.
But apparently he doesn't always stay there because Dustin's seen him in the garage.
I wouldn't necessarily say seen him, but there was something that happened that I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody normally probably just brush it off, but do you want me to tell it or you tell
You
it?
can tell it. You're the one that's
That
seen it.
garage is creepy. I told you.
So
I don't like it.
So I
Right.
come home the other morning, and I go into the garage and I open the main garage door, and anyway, I close it behind me and sitting there, and I'm getting some stuff out of my car, and she has this back door that goes to the backyard, And anyway, the door was wide open. And so anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm getting some stuff out of my car, and the door's open, and then all of a sudden it just shuts and then slams shut at the end.
And it's not windy?
No, not at all, because I told her that instantly, because that, I'm used to these things. So if something like that happens, if it's windy, I'm like, well, it's the wind or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty aware of what's going on. But anyway, so it shut, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And first thing I thought of was, well, as they define it, a man with a top hat. Well,
Cowboy.
a cowboy hat or whatever. And I was telling Joel earlier, there's a such phenomenon called the Hat Man. And there's a
yes.
whole legend and story behind that. Whether if that's what this is or not, I don't know. But anyway.
It's usually nice.
But apparently he opens that door too because, and I just thought maybe Sis had opened it or something, because last time I stayed there, I went out like that morning to have a smoke,
I remember.
and the back door was open. And I know that it was shut the night before, but I thought, oh, somebody was, out back or something,
Could have been Christopher, or apparently it could have been.
But it
this.
was open, and it's not normally open because nobody goes in the backyard.
Right.
I just thought it was weird. It gave me the creeps instantly.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of brushed it off, like, oh, Sis was probably out back or doing something or whatever.
So tell us a little bit more about the legend of the Hat Man that
Yeah.
you were talking about.
All right. Well, right before we get to that, I want to finish the story
Oh,
with the
sorry.
door.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. So anyway, once that closed, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I instantly thought of, well, one, it was either a natural phenomenon with, suction of the garage or whatever, closing the door, or
Sure.
it, possibly could have been that. So anyway, I opened the door back up, and I fully open it up to the wall, and I stand back to where I was, and then I asked if it was him to close the door, and then about, I'd say maybe around 7 to 10 seconds,
No way.
and then it shut and locked.
And was it
Basically
like a
shut.
smooth, slow
Yeah.
shut? It wasn't like a slam.
No, it was gaining. It was like gaining momentum, but it was like slow at first, and then going, and boom. So whether or not, if that was, I can't say it was or wasn't due to that, but I do know that there was no airflow going on in.
You would
that
have felt
garage.
it. You
Oh,
heard
yeah.
it. I mean, anything.
Yeah, and it wasn't storming or anything like that. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
And there's a fence around the backyard,
yes.
so it's a pretty good wind block back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting, but anyway, once it was shut, I asked if he could open it, and nothing happened that way. But anyway,
Well, he's probably out of energy at that point.
well,
Needs to eat more Wheaties.
yeah, right.
You know what's crazy is we have a ghost at our
Nope.
house, and he loves to eat ice cream, and everybody's like, "Where's all the ice cream going?" I'm like, "I don't know. It must have been the ghost or something." Eats all of our ice cream.
It's crazy.
So it's just,
different
it's
kind of ghost.
crazy. Well, I mean, the ice cream ghost, and there's a lot of legends about that. We could go into it for a long time, but it's legit. It's
Yeah.
definitely not me. It's the ghost eating all
Have
the ice
you ever
cream.
heard of the stone tape theory?
No, dude, no. I don't even know what is all
Okay,
this
we need
stuff.
to hear the hat guy theory first, and
Okay.
then the stone thing.
Okay, so I don't want to freak Melissa out on this, but
Too late.
the Hat Man theory, I don't know it 100%, like the origin of it and everything, but what I do know is that usually it can be an entity that is not a good thing, but in their case, at their house, in this situation, it has been friendly, it hasn't been harmful, it hasn't done anything malicious.
Yeah, we've been there for 9 years.
Yeah, so if that is what this is, I don't know. It could be just a man that lived there once and wore a hat, and from time to time they see him walking the same path or wherever in the house. That's what I would lean towards, what it probably
Sure.
is, more than the actual Hat Man legend. But whenever people talk of bad things happening to them or seeing spirits or apparitions and them wearing dark silhouetted hats or their whole image is, then that's usually associated with the Hat Man, and that's not a good thing.
Wow.
Yep, I've seen one of those. He wasn't wearing a hat, but he was dark.
Interesting.
Can we call him Christina's boyfriend? Is that? I mean, it's on her side of the house, right?
It is on her side of the
And
house.
she does like to pretend to be an old lady. Sorry, Christina, we love you, but you're older than the rest of us spiritually. So this is your new boyfriend, right? That'd be cool. When she hears this, she's gonna be like shaking her head, like.
She's like, Joel, damn it.
I want to hear more about the other thing, but but before we do that, I want to ask Melissa another question here to give her maybe a little bit of time. Melissa, I want you to tell us a little bit about, you go thrifting a lot. Have you in the past few years, have you like ever come across something that was like just like an incredible find, or something that like, I don't know, just something weird or unique that you could tell somebody about?
Well, I usually collect children's books, so I find a lot of very old ones are the ones that I really like to get. The oldest one I have right now is from 1906,
Yeah.
but it's actually a magazine. And then probably the coolest one that I have, I'm not actually the one that found it. Dustin found it. It's an autographed comic book. It's kind
Graphic novel
it-
type thing.
It's not really a novel per se, but the person that's about it, so he's passed away, and it's signed.
It's by the guy who I guess would puppeteer Howdy Doody,
Yeah.
Oh.
He signed it.
and the producer of the show, I believe.
Did you
is
watch that show a lot?
No, but Mom did.
Yeah, it was before
Yeah,
our
that-
time.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
way back.
Mm-hmm.
And then today, whenever we were out yard sailing and thrifting, I found another Howdy Doody book. It's not signed, but it's a children's book.
Yeah. Did you buy it?
I did.
That's kind of cool.
I brought
Awesome.
home like 6 bags full of books.
Today?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody wants to go to the historical children's library?
It's in my living room.
It's in her living room, and it's a spirited library. So there's always
No.
somebody there 24/7.
No, not on her side.
No,
Oh, he doesn't come to your side.
Christina's side is the spirited side.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Her library.
Can we name this ghost? Let's give him a name.
Cowboy is what Christina calls him.
She calls him cowboy. Does she think he looks like a cowboy?
Well, my ex's daughter said he was wearing a cowboy hat, so they've always called him cowboy since then,
Oh.
whenever they've seen him. Christina said he kind of has a little silhouette, like he has a cowboy hat on. So,
Okay. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, how many people do you think, like in the house or guests or anybody, has seen this?
I have not ever seen him, but I also don't look for those kind of things. So if I accidentally see something, I just write it off as something else.
So you don't get scared.
I know
'cause
why he
I don't
doesn't.
want to think about it.
I know why he doesn't come to your side.
But I know.
He's afraid of getting sucked up by that industrial size air purifier you have on your side of the. Yeah, he's afraid he's going to just get.
I do have a big one.
Yeah.
But I think he doesn't come to my side because the old part of the house ends at the kitchen, and the addition part starts on my side of the house.
Right.
So that
The other
keeps him
side's
over
familiar.
there.
Yeah, the other side's familiar for him.
They also
Yeah.
they talk about, or at least I've learned from things that they talk about, like spirits sometimes get like bound to an object or
Yeah, it's
an area.
residual.
Yeah, and that must be why like you don't experience it. But what's strange though is the garage is on your side. So what's
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah.
Part of the garage is original to the house. There's a cinder block part of it that's original, has been there way longer.
Wow.
And the 3-car part of it is the new part, and then the other part in the back is where the actual old garage used to be.
Okay.
So it's like a building, not really a
So
garage.
for him, her part of the house isn't even there for this spirit.
Wow.
All he knows is what was there originally and then the garage.
So the new part of the house essentially was like there was an old part, there was
It
a
was
garage,
yard.
and they connected the buildings with your new part because the
Yeah.
garage is connected
Yeah.
to the new part and the old house is connected to the new part. So
Yeah.
wow.
Well, if I could intersect here.
Please.
Yeah, so this will lead right into the stone tape theory. The stone tape theory is basically whenever something has happened in the past and it currently happens in today's time. So as in this hat man or cowboy that is going on in her house, he has a certain path that he goes or walks or goes.
Oh.
And it's almost like a recorded
Like a memory
Time
I've heard
time
this.
frame.
Yeah. And it just happens periodically for whatever reason, whenever it wants to. And it just does the same thing over and over and over. And you don't know, it might happen once, and it might happen once a year, once every 5 years, once every 7 years, once every 20 years. But
wild.
That's the theory of it. So.
I've heard that before. I just didn't remember it being called that.
That's really, really cool. Well, I think we're going to have to probably wrap this up because we are currently hanging out above a birthday party that's taking place. They wanted to play poker in here, so I think we're going to let them go ahead and do that. But I'd like to go ahead and thank Dustin, thank Melissa for popping on for this little, like, we'll call it a half episode.
Yeah.
And
It's a mini-sode.
it's a little
A
mini
mini-sode.
episode.
Yeah.
I got to know a little bit about, mostly about ghosts and crazy, like creepy things. And
It's all right to say crazy. It's all right.
well, no, it's not really crazy though. It's just like crazy in the sense of like, it's hard for us to like comprehend sometimes.
Oh,
Like, there's
definitely.
lots of things we don't understand in life, and so this is a little bit of a different episode in the sense of we don't normally talk about some of these more
Spiritual.
or I don't know if horror is, you know what I mean, but kind of like scarier.
yeah.
But still, we're probably going to have a decent audience who will find this to be interesting. And I know you have a lot more stories that you'd like to say for a much bigger time where we can do a full length interview. I would even like to get some more people who don't know Dustin and get him, to do some more of that. And then Melissa, I'd like you to get on, and we need to hear more stories about you and Jesi growing up and maybe some of your nursing adventures and some of your thrifting stuff. That would be really cool.
Yeah, if I go into nursing, we can talk for a long time about
We can-
stories. I
okay,
have
all
from
right. Well,
that.
we're going to save both of those for another time. But thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody for listening to this special edition of Best Forking Friends. Have a good night.
Best forking friends, friends till the end.